What's going on, gangsters? Movie John here, and welcome back to Originals versus Remakes. And today we're going to talk about Wes Craven's classic from 1977, The Hills Have Eyes, and its remake from 2006. I remember the very first time I saw The Hills Have Eyes. I was at my cousin's house in Virginia, and I was real little, and the parents was going out on their night on the town, and I was stuck there with my cousin that was, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years older than me, and he popped out the tape. I guess they rented it or whatever, and I watched it, and I was scared to death. Basically, the story is a group of people get stranded out in the desert, and then there's some crazy people in the hills that come down and kidnap the little baby that they have and start killing them off one by one. This was Wes Craven's second film he ever directed, and it's always been a favorite of mine, and Michael Berryman plays in it, of course. I don't think the man's ever had any hair, but because every movie I've ever seen him in, from the 70s all the way up to a few years ago, he's never had no damn hair. So I don't know if he shaved it back in the day or what. But the sequel came out a few years later in the 80s. I think Michael Berryman was in that too. I only caught that one once. It had a lot of flashbacks and stuff. The sequel just really sucked, just put it that way. But the remake came out in 2006, almost 30 years later. A lot of these remakes and stuff come out almost 20 or 30 years later. It's like on anniversaries or something. Not really for sure why that is, but it's unrated, and they changed it up a lot. The guys in the first one that came out of the hills, they look like bikers and stuff, and just, you know, leather and stuff, and just dirty and nasty. But in the remake, they're actually like people from Wrong Turn, basically. They look like inbreds, and they get it from the radiation for where they're testing bombs and stuff over the years and stuff. The story's basically the same. They don't really change a whole lot about it, but it is a little bit more gorier, as usual. Movies nowadays are always more gorier than the original, but for years I've always said The Hills Have Eyes is my second favorite Wes Craven film, right behind The Last House on the Left, and we've already done that one. And he had a little bit of hand in this. He was, I think, an executive producer, so they brought him back, and I guess that's why it's not really a whole lot of changes to the film or anything. But it's always been a favorite of mine. And out of these two, I'm not really for sure. I had to toss up a quarter, because this is a really good remake, and to say which one that can win between me trying to pick my favorite out of these, I'd have to go probably with the original, but the remake is really a close second behind. It's a really good remake, so if you have never seen it, you ought to go check it out. It's really good, and they made a sequel to it too now. Just like the sequel to the original one, it sucked. I'm sorry to say, I didn't like it. There's people out there that liked it. Part 2 basically had the military come in and try to wipe these people out and everything. But I just didn't go for it. I didn't like it. I saw it in the theater, and I just wasn't impressed. But the original remake was pretty good, and it wasn't too far off from the original, except the guys looked a little bit more crazier and a little bit more gorier and all that good stuff. So if you've seen the original or the remake, or both, give me a comment below. Tell me what you think about the original and the remake, which one you like the best, which one you like the worst, or if you like the remake at all, or you don't like the original at all. Just let me know down below, and stay tuned to another Originals versus Remakes. Till next time.